Hello, grade 6, and welcome to Teacher Sean's online class. This is only temporary because Teacher Sean will be going to have his vaccination today. So right now, I can only provide you a recording of my lesson for today. Okay, so today is Wednesday, the 30th of June. And this is for some classes. Some classes are already done with HCF and LCM. This is supposed to be multiple, okay? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start, since we are done with HCF, or greatest common factor, we will continue with LCM, or least common multiples. Okay, so once again, our vocabulary is LCM. It's the lowest common factor of the given set of numbers. Now, there are two ways to find the LCM, right? We have listing the multiples and comparing them. Okay, we list the multiples and we compare the common multiples. And then we also have repeated division, or the cake method. I'm sure every one of you is aware of the cake method. Okay, it's my favorite. All right, let's continue on to our next slide. So we have the first method right here. An example is multiples of 6 and 8. Okay, the multiples of 6 and 8 are 6, 12, 18, 24, and 30. We don't have to go all the way because we know that the next number that we have to list down is 8, right? Okay, and 8, some of these numbers are already multiples of 8. So let's try 8, 16, 24, 32, and 40. Okay, so we can see that 24 are both multiples of 6 and 8. All right. So all you have to do is compare and circle the multiples. Okay, that's how you find the LCM of two numbers, two or more numbers. Now, that's method 1. Method 2 is repeated division, or the cake method. Okay, this is a favorite of most students aside from method 1 because it's easier, right? So we have 6 and we have 8. All we have to do is find the common number, or the common factor that we can divide with 6 and 8. That common number is 2, right? So 6 divided by 2 becomes 3. 8 divided by 2 becomes 4. Now, we can actually multiply 2, 3, and 4 right away, right? Because there are no common factors. We cannot divide 3 and 4 evenly, okay? But there's also another option that we can do, since we can multiply this 2 times 3 times 4, right? 2 times 3 times 4 is how much? Who can tell me? 2 times 3 times 4 is 24. Okay, so let's write it down. 2 times 3 times 4 is 24. Okay. Actually, you know what? Let me write the whole equation. So it's 2 times 3 times 4 equals 28. Okay, now watch closely. Watch closely. I will erase this. Since we can't divide two of these numbers equally, we can still divide 4, right? So all we have to do, if 3 is not divisible or cannot be divided anymore, all we have to do with 3 is bring it down and then divide 4 by 2, right? Divide 4 by 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2 right here. Now, watch closely. We have 2 times 2 times 3 times 2. Okay, who would like to calculate that? Or who would like to solve that? 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 2 is 6. 4 times 6, oops. Sorry, I clicked something. Okay, 4 times 6 is equal to 28. So it's the same, right? It's the same as the first option that we can do, which is multiply this. Okay, so I'm just saying that it's an option. Sorry, I keep pressing something. So I'm saying that this first option, you can do it, right? You can find the LCM. But the second option, you can also find the LCM. Okay, they're both the same number. They're both the same answers. So yeah, you can do whatever you like. You can stop right here and multiply, or you can keep going until you can not divide any individual numbers anymore. All right, so that's method 2. Now that you are familiar with method 1 and method 2, we can continue to the next, what? Next slide. All right, let's have some examples in your book. We have here 6 and 30. What we have to do is find the least or the LCM of 6 and 30 by listing. All right, let's try and list that. Let's try and list 6 and 30. Let's see if we can zoom in so that everyone can see. Can we zoom in? No, we can't zoom in. Okay, sorry. Let's continue. Let's list 6 and 30. 6 and 30. Okay. So once again, this is LCM. So what do we have to do? List the multiples of each number. So the multiples of 6 are 6, 12, 18, 20, 24. Very good. What's up, 24? 30. Okay, I think we can stop there. We have 6, 12, 18, 24, and 30. I know my next number that I have to list is 30. So 30 looks like 30 is a multiple of 30, right? So let's list all the multiples of 30. We have 30. 30 times 2 is how much? 60. We have 90. And we can keep going, but we don't have to. Why? Because we already have the two numbers, right? We already have the common multiples, which is what? Which is 30 and 30. So the LCM of 6 and 30 is 30, right? All right, so that's the LCM of 6 and 30. which is 30. Now, let's move to a much more difficult, okay, a much more difficult equation, which is letter B. We have 2, 4, and 7. Okay, so let's list first. We have 2, we have 4, and we have 7 down here, right? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We have 12. Oh, that's a very big, it's a very long comma. 14 and so on. Okay, we'll stop at 14, right? What I like to do is I can stop at 14 because I know that 7 is factor of 14, or 14 is a multiple of 7. All right. So what we can do now is continue on with number 4, right? Multiples of 4. So we have 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, and so on. Okay, so these are the multiples of 4. And then we can continue to multiples of 7, which is 7, 14, 21, 28. What's after 28? 35. Okay, we can stop there. So it's getting a bit bigger. So now what we have to do is find the least or the smallest common multiple. So which one? Do we have a common multiple yet? Yes or no? Okay, so as you can see, we don't have a common multiple yet. All right. So what we can do is continue on with 2. Let's continue with 2. We have 14, 16, 18, 20. That's a 0. Then we have 22, 24. I think we can stop at 28. Okay, 28, because we have a 28 here at 7. So it might be our next, or it might be our LCM. So let's continue 4. We have 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, and 28. All right, all right. So now we have 3 common multiples. And each of them are 28. Now, here is a tip, grade 6. So we have this situation right here. We have 2, 4, and 7. And as you can see, 7 is the biggest number amongst these two, right? So what we can do first is find the multiples of the biggest number first, right? So we have 7, 14, 21, 28, 35. Okay, it's getting bigger. It's big enough. So we can find the smaller ones next. We have 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28. Now we're seeing a pattern. We have 28, we have 28 as well. And then the last one, the smallest number, we can keep going, we can keep multiplying until we get, or until we reach a common multiple, which is 28. All right, so that means the LCM of 2, 4, and 7 is 28. And this is 30, 30, this is 28. All right, I think you can do C and D by yourself after this class finishes. Let's move on to page 44 in your books. Okay, the instruction says, find the least common multiple of the following sets of numbers by repeated division. Okay, now this is a bit easier. Okay, so all we have to do is divide. As you can see, we have 35, 40, and 55, right? 35, 40, and 55. The common factor is 5. So we can divide 35 by 5, we get 7. 40 divided by 5 is 4. 40 divided by 5 is 4. Are you sure? This is wrong. I think the book is wrong, right? 40 divided by 5 is not 4. So what is 40 divided by 5? Okay, 40 divided by 5 is not 4. It is indeed 8. Okay, so let's change that. All right. So we have, the book is wrong. It's all right. Don't worry. As long as you're paying attention, it will be all right. Okay, so we have 7, 8, and 11. Now, we can't divide these two or these three numbers equally, right? Or exactly. But we have two options. We can either, let me choose another color. We can either multiply 5 times 7 times 8 times 11. Or we can keep going. Okay, we can keep going and divide 8, right? We can divide 8 by 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. And we drop down 7 and 11 here. Okay, we can actually still divide 4 until it becomes a number that we can't divide. So we divide 4 by 2, drop down 7, drop down 7. 4 divided by 2 is 2, and then we have 11. Okay, now we can't divide any of them equally, right? Or exactly. So what we can do is multiply 5 times 2, 4, 5 times 2 times 2 times 7 times 2 times 11. 5 times 2, 2 times 2 times 7 times 2 times 11. Okay, so this is this is just another way. Okay, but if it's too long, we can simply do the first option, which is 5 times 7 times 8 times 11, right? And we will still have, or we still end up with the same answer. So 5 times 7 is 35 times 8, 280 times 11, 3080. Very big number. It is a very big number indeed. So it's 3080. There we go. Now let's try the second one, see if it's the same, right? So 5 times 2 is 10, times 2 is 20, times 7, 140, times 2, 280, times 11, 3080. It's the same, okay? So if you like, you can do option 2 by yourself if you like, but you can also do option 1 if it's faster, if it's easier for you. Okay, so please fill in let me erase this part. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we can use the second one, right? We can use the second to write down here. So let's write it down, everyone. Please write it down in your books. This is 5, 2, 2, 7, 2, 11, and then the LCM is 3080. Please write that down in your book. Okay, book. I will start to erase now. You can actually, what do you call this? You can actually pause this video so you can copy down everything that I've written. All right, erasing. Goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. All right, let's continue to, which one? Here we go. So we have the extra challenge. Okay, I think everyone can do B, C, and D by themselves, all right? So we have the extra challenge. We have the extra challenge. It says, what is the highest common factor and the least common multiple of 25, 42, and 81? Now, normally I would give this to you as homework, as a challenge, but I want to take this opportunity to give you tips and advice when it's asking you for the HCF and the LCM at the same time. So let's write it down. We have 25, 42, and 81. Okay, this is how we find the HCF and LCM at the same time. So what can we divide 25, 42, and 81 with? Okay, so now that we are done with LCM, okay, we can continue on to our next topic for today, which is word problems. Okay, word problems with HCF and LCM. So let's start with the first example that is also in your book. Okay, it's on page 45, example number 13. So there is a piece of paper measured 36 centimeters by 48 centimeters. Wong wants to cut the paper into equal-sized squares to fold into paper cranes without having any remaining paper. Find the greatest length of each side of paper. Okay, now for those who can, for those who remember my previous lessons about word problems, we use the word problem steps, right? The cubes. So all we have to do is circle the numbers. So let's have red. Let's circle 36 with a pen. 36 and 48. Now underline the question, or the what we have to do is find the greatest length of each side of paper. This is not a very straight line. I'm sorry, but basically when it says find the greatest length, it means we have to find the HCF, or the highest common factor, right? Okay. Let's continue to the next slide. So we have here our question, all right, and we have here our paper with the measurements of 36 and 48. All right. Now, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do this word problem? So basically what we have to do is use the repeated division, or the cake method. Okay, so let's take 36, that's right, 36 over here. Now that's a big 6, and we have 48, and let's use the cake method. Now, what number or what common factor can we use? What common factor can we use? Who can tell me? It's in your book, so you can always look. All right, we always start with 2, right? 2 is my best friend. All right, we can divide 36 by 2. We get 18. 48 by 2, we get 24, right? Now, as you can see, these numbers are still divisible by 2. So 18 divided by 2 is how much? 9. 24 divided by 2 is 12. Okay, now we can't divide each numbers by 2, but the common factor is 3, right? So we can divide by 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. There we go. Remember, this is finding the highest common factor. So it means that we only have to multiply this part of the equation. Okay, we can leave these out. So all we have to do now is put 2 times 2 times 3. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. Okay, there we go. So we have our answer, 12. The question is, find the greatest length of each side. So that means each side is 12 centimeters. Is that right? That is correct. So if you can see in your example 13, 12 centimeters is the right answer. All right, so let's move on to the next slide. Okay, now this is on example 14. Bananas cost 30 baht per kilogram and mangoes cost 50 baht per kilogram. Ken paid an equal amount of money to buy each fruit. He also paid the smallest amount of money for them. How much money did Ken pay for each fruit? And how many kilograms of fruit did he buy? Okay, now as you can see, we have to underline, we have to follow the cubes or the word problem steps. We have 30, we have 50. Okay, now we underline the question. There are 2 of them. So how much did Ken pay? Oops, sorry about that. Nope. How much did Ken pay for each fruit? And how many kilograms of each fruit did he buy? So we have to find out how much he paid and how many kilograms for each fruit. Okay, now we already have the numbers and we already have the questions. So what do we have to do? We still have to use, as you can see in the book, we still have to use the cake method. So let's take 30 baht, 30, and 50. That's a weird 50. Okay, as you can see, we can simply divide by 2, right? We start with the smallest one. The smallest one is 2. 30 divided by 2 is 15. 50 divided by 2 is 25. Now we can still divide, right? We can still divide each side by what number? Can we divide 25 by, it says in the book we can divide 25 by 3, but I don't think so. 5 times 3 is 15, which is weird. Okay, so that means it's not correct. So what can we divide? We can still divide by 5, right? Let's try 5. 15 divided by 5 is 3. 25 divided by 5 is 5. Very good. Can we divide any more? Not anymore, okay? And remember, we are using the LCM because he paid the smallest amount of money. So we are using least common multiple. So that means we have to multiply 2 times 5 times 3 times 5. All right, multiply all of these. So 2 times 5 times 3 times 5. All right, sorry about that multiply. Okay, 2 times 5 is 10. 3 times 5 is 15. 10 times 15 is 150. There we go. So we have our answer. We have the first question. We have the answer to how much he paid for each fruit, right? So Ken paid 150 baht for each fruit, 150 per fruit. Okay, there we go. Now we have to find how many kilograms of each fruit did he buy. So what do we have to do? We have to take 150 and we divide by 30 and 50, right? 30 baht for mangoes. So 150 divided by 30 is how much? 5 kilograms. Okay, so it's 5 kg. There we go. And the second one is 150 divided by 50. How much? We get 3 kg. Okay, you can also check in the book, it's also correct, 5 kilograms and 3 kilograms. So we have finished answering 2 questions in this problem. So Ken spent 150 baht per fruit, and he also bought 3 kilograms and 5 kilograms of fruit, right? So that's the word problem for today. We can actually try solving one word problem in your book together so that everyone can have a head start. All right, now let's try this. In your book, let's read. A piece of cardboard measured 88 centimeters by 121 centimeters. Niticorn cut the cardboard into squares of equal size without any remainder. What was the length of each square? So that is our question. And we have 88 and 121. So what we are doing is actually finding the LCM, okay, the least common multiple. So what method should we use? Okay, personally, for me, since we have 88 and 121, those are two big numbers, right? So when you see two big numbers, I want to use prime factorization. So we have 88 over here. Okay, let's divide that. 88 can be divided into 2. 2 times 44 is equal to 88. 44 can still be divided, right? So 2 times 22 is 44. We can still divide 22. 2 times 11. There we go. 2 times 11. 11 we cannot divide anymore, so let's circle that. Okay. And then we have 121. 121 we can't divide by 2. It's if you actually divide 121 into two numbers, it's 11 and 11, right? So both of them we cannot divide. So that means we are done. All we have to do now is list down all the prime factors, like 2 times 2 times 2 times 11. right? And we also have 121, 11. Oh, that's not 11. Erase and rewrite. We have 11 times 11. There we go. So we don't have any common factors except for, common multiples except for 11 and 11, right? So what we are using, actually, we are finding the HCF, not the LCM. Sorry, I am mistaken. So we are finding the HCF. So the HCF is 11 centimeters per square. Okay, sorry, I can't write properly. So we just answered our first question, which is what was the length of each square? Each square is 11 centimeters, right? So that's for number 1E. Now, I want you to do the rest, 47 to 48 by yourself. A little tip, number 2, right? For number 2, as you can see, number 2 looks exactly like, right here, this is number 2. It looks exactly like word problem example number 2 on page 45, right? The bananas. The questions are almost the same. All you have to do is try and follow, okay? If you have any questions, you can leave these blank. If you don't know, we can tackle them in class next time. All right. Grade 6, that will be all for today. I know there's a lot you have to do. You have to finish the LCM and also the word problems. You have this week to finish it and send me the answers online, okay? That will be all for today. I hope everyone understood the lesson today. Please take care of yourself and see you next time. Goodbye.